Hi everyone, and welcome to a very exciting video. When was it that I sat here recently-ish, not a few months ago, probably like 6-7 months ago or so, talking about how I was in no rush to get married and, well, we're not married yet, but, and also talking about how I was in no rush for babies and what we're here to talk about. Baby Sparkle. Yeah, I'm having a baby. I am 12 weeks and 4 days, so actually kind of further along than I sometimes can sort of remember that I am. I think the weeks thing makes it seem like you're not as far along as you are, but when you think of it in months, you realise that like it is quite far along. My due date is the 30th of March. Originally, before I had the scan, I did think that my due date was the midwife told me that my due date based on kind of my last period was the 2nd of April, which we all thought was kind of, siren outside, rude. We all thought was kind of serendipitous because it is the date that my grandmother passed away. So the 2nd of April last year. Well, this year, but it'll be next year when the baby comes. And so when I had the scan, she actually said I was a little bit further along than originally we thought. So that's where we're at. But we're very, very happy. It was a surprise to begin with because it was one of those weird situations where we were really busy with the restaurant that we kind of didn't really stop, and it didn't register to me that something seemed not right. And I knew when my period was due, but I was so busy that I didn't give it much thought. And then I suddenly realised one day that, oh, I'm pretty sure that like my period's due any minute now. And I used the Clue app thing, so I had to look on there. And the reason that I was using the Clue app was because we were kind of like using that as sort of contraception, but to be honest, we weren't very on top of it, which explains why this happened. Yeah, I was kind of doing that and I thought, oh, but then literally that day, then later on in the evening, I had a little bit of spotting and I was like, oh yeah, my period's coming. But it was during the week that we were sort of trying to open, and I was literally so busy that I sort of thought, oh yeah, it's coming, and then it never really came, and it was just that sort of weird bit of spotting and then kind of like nothing, and that was it. And it took me a few days to register after that, where I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, nothing actually came from that. So I went and bought a pregnancy test, and it's one of those things where, you know, when you just think, oh, I'm probably not. I thought that, so I went and I bought just like a really cheapy one, because they're really expensive. So I bought a really cheapy one and did it, and one line means no, 2 lines means yes. And it was like one line, and there was like a faint something of a second line, and I thought, oh, I probably didn't take it right. I'll just give it a few days. Gave it a few days, still nothing. So I went and bought one, and when I did the second one, straight away 2 lines appeared. So I didn't say anything, and I went and bought one of those ones that, like the first response ones, that tell you kind of that they're like the early detection ones. So I went and bought one of those, and instantly 2 very dark lines appeared. So then basically, me trying to save money with the cheapy ones, it didn't actually work out that way. I then went and bought one of the clear blue ones that tells you how far along you are, and I did that one, and it said that I was about 3 weeks. And that happened to be on opening night, so it was really kind of like, oh my god, and it took a minute till it sunk in and we kind of had got what happened. And it was really exciting, and it just, everybody was excited, and I did share it with kind of family and friends, well, close family and friends, straight away, because I thought, I'm trying to like set the restaurant up, and I'm so busy that there's no point in me trying to worry about hiding it. I didn't kind of announce anything online until the scan and everything was okay and that kind of thing. Yeah, so that's kind of what happened with that. And then I had started to write down in anticipation of this video, because I knew I was going to make it, little notes of how I was kind of feeling during the different times, because I did then start to feel really, really sick. The first few weeks I felt amazing. I had like obscene amounts of energy, everything was great. Then at week 4 I had a little bit of spotting and I really panicked and I was like, oh my god, what is this? Like, I'm pretty sure this isn't meant to happen. And it turned out that it was just like an implantation bleed or something, they called it. So it turns out that it was fine. Then week 5 I started to feel really bloated, no bump or anything obviously at that point, and I felt really sick all day. But it was kind of just little bits of sickness that would kind of come and go all day. Then week 6 it was the worst. I went and bought those like stupid C-band wrist things to try and see if that would help. Didn't help. I could literally only really plain things like crackers and things like that. If you can hear that noise in the background, I think Paul's just gone in the shower. We're going to leave in a minute to go to work. But yeah, it was just like extreme tiredness as well. A tiredness that felt like I could sleep for 12 hours and still be tired. It was just, and I'm somebody that kind of likes quite energetic usually, and oh my god, it was just killing me. I was so tired. Week 7 I had just like this weird really sore boobs. Like they were so sore to a point where I couldn't lie on my stomach, which is how I usually sleep, and they just hurt all the time. And I'd get these like weird sort of sudden bursts of hunger where I'd feel like if I don't eat right this second I'm going to be sick, and it was a constant trying to keep on top of what I could eat, what I could manage eating, feeling guilty that I couldn't manage to eat things that were like really healthy like fruit and veg. I could only manage to eat plain crackers, and I was really aware of the fact that like I couldn't even have like any cereal with milk or anything like that because it just made me feel really sick. And I was throwing up constantly during that week as well. It was really horrible. Being at the restaurant was really difficult because the smell of everything was making me feel sick. So being around food in general was just making me feel sick. The smell of coffee was making me feel sick. It was really grim. Week 8 I still felt sick, and I was able to eat a little bit more. And I put a little thing here that said that I was craving grapes and salt and vinegar crisps. That kind of was how that went. Week 9, my boobs have become humongous. They're humongous now as well, as I'm sure you can kind of tell. But yeah, week 9 I was like, oh my god, why are they so big? They just sort of like filled out of nowhere. It was a bit weird. Less tired, less sick. Week 10 was when the bump sort of appeared. Still a little bit sick, and I have been a little bit sick on and off. The last 2 days I actually did feel a lot better, and this morning like I had some toast, but now I do feel a little bit queasy. But it's also because sometimes I have a bit of a weird taste in my mouth. It's like a weird like metallic-y taste, and I think that makes you feel a bit sick more as well. And the bump kind of appeared out of nowhere as well on about week 11, which I don't necessarily know when these things are kind of meant to happen, and it's not something where it's like you can say, oh, that's normal, that's not normal. It's very individual. It very much depends on loads of different things. I do think that probably one of the contributing factors for me as well is because I'm so small, I'm only 5'1", that there isn't very much room for it to go kind of thing, so it is just appeared. I'll show you it in a minute because it is the weirdest thing, having like a little bit of a bump. It's really lovely, but what's weird is when I wake up in the morning it's not as pronounced, and then as soon as I have the tiniest thing to eat or anything to drink, you can notice it. I am really struggling with drinking water, which if you know anything about me, you'll know is really unlike me. I usually drink copious amounts of water. I struggle with it. It makes me feel a bit sick. I tend to need things that have a bit of flavour, but I think that's to do with the horrible metallic taste in my mouth. So I'm going to show you what the bump looks like a little bit now. So I'm just wearing this dress from New Look. Obviously it's not a maternity dress, it's just a normal dress. But I'll come here and show you. it's a very slight kind of bump. In my mind, I think it's bigger than it is sometimes, but it's actually not. Like, I've got a cardigan on, so if I lift it up, there we go. It's that little thing there. It's quite, I don't know, I sort of think it's sort of quite high up in that it does start to kind of come out from here. But again, because I'm so small, I think it does start from kind of your crotch area as well. But yeah, it's a very kind of odd sensation. It's quite nice in clothes, in dresses I feel really nice, because I feel like it kind of, any area that maybe used to be an area that you were a bit unconfident about seems to kind of, like, you've not got any squish, it's quite kind of hard. So that side of it's quite nice. But finding clothes to wear at the moment is a little bit of a struggle, I'm not going to lie. Dresses are my best friend. I went and bought some maternity jeans because everybody said to me, just go and do that because they'll be a bit more comfy for you. And I did, and they were okay, but I'm not a jeans person. I don't like wearing jeans. I don't think jeans are particularly comfortable. And I don't know, I don't particularly like wearing them, and they don't stay up properly because I haven't got enough of a bump, but the under the bump ones were not comfortable, and that was a whole thing. So yeah, I'll start doing baby content, shall I? I don't know like what, we haven't bought anything for the baby yet, we're so busy still that it is hard. And when I come in, I literally just have to go to sleep because I am really, really tired all the time still. But that's probably just normal tiredness, not pregnancy-related tiredness. But when we had the scan yesterday, it was really, really weird. Like, I'm going to just move it so you can't see any of my personal details. But it was so weird because, you know when you see other people scan pictures and you're kind of like, I'm not really sure what I'm looking at, but yeah, cute. That's how I always felt, and then it didn't feel like that. It was really sort of, it was really surreal. It wasn't one of those scans where you could hear anything, which threw me off a little bit. Like, you couldn't hear a heartbeat and you couldn't hear like any of the like breathing or anything. You could just sort of see it. And when I asked her, she said, oh, it's not one of those machines, it's just a machine that you look at. And I was like, oh, I kind of wanted to hear the heartbeat. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was just to do with that hospital or whatever it was. And it was really, really wriggly. It was really cute. It like wouldn't stop moving around, and all you could see was like arms and legs flailing about everywhere and moving and stuff. It was weird. Like, we were both a bit like, it made it feel really real. It was weird. But yeah, I'll show you anyway. So that's what it looks like. Little baby Sparkle. Obviously we don't know the gender yet. We don't have any particular preference, to be honest. Happy with either. We will find out because its arrival was a surprise. I could do with no more surprises. Yeah, we just want to know. And yeah, like I said, no preference whatsoever, kind of happy with whatever. And let me know what kind of baby content you want to see. Do you want to see baby content? Shall I start doing like pregnancy updates? Any tags? What do you want to see? I'm open to it. It's a whole new genre, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not particularly knowledgeable about it, so I'm excited to kind of delve into things and learn about things, and yeah. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and it just goes to show you that, like, you can't plan life, can you? Was it life happens like when you're not looking or whatever. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're all excited for the arrival of baby Sparkle, and yeah, lots of love, guys. Bye.